length of the season. If we look now, I'm at the Nutrigrain trial this weekend and it's September, and then we've got Aussies in the end of April near Anzac Day, which is a bit long for a lot of people, but I suppose it's a good thing because we love it, but it's a bit long.
Occasionally I'm pretty intimidated because everyone is like crazy fit and crazy competitive.
I've joined as an older person, so I don't have a lot of confidence in the water. I haven't grown up near a beach.
A lot of sports are suffering from insurance problems now, trying to get insurance for certain activities that they do.
The Nutrigrain series, I think it's a financial burden, and I come from a Lullaby which hasn't suffered because of our surf sports. It's suffered because it's economically unviable at the moment.
A lot of people don't do surf sports because they think they need to be a blindingly hot board rider, or they need to be a great surf boat rower, or they need to be a fantastic swimmer, sort of thing. And when you actually get into it, you realise, I don't actually, I can just go and have fun.
I work full time. It's difficult to come down to training sessions, scheduled training sessions, as much as I would really like to, because I do, in my own time, I do a lot of swimming and running and all of that sort of stuff, so I would suit competition, I think, quite well.
There's a lot of hoops to jump as far as that just the process of when you get involved with the surf club. I mean, the bronze, and there's a lot of paperwork and bureaucracy that you've got to go through to be able to, before you can actually compete.
A lot of hours to do, which is sometimes hard when you're trying to race most weekends.
You're not going to say to the person that's drowning, "Oh, sorry, I can't come out and save you because the beach is too rough for me now." That's probably what surf sports is becoming like at the moment.
When I grew up, the top end of the sport had a really high profile, and I think that was the inspiration that was required for both the really younger kids and the kids that are the biggest challenge in our sport to keep in, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, really looked up to the higher level sort of top tier sports people, and I think we've underinvested at that level. And they don't have the profile that they had, Phil, when you were heavily involved in the sport. And I think if we want to get it back where it is and try and solve that mid-tier problem, we need to boost the profile at the top end, no doubt about it.
Coaches, I think the coaches themselves, sometimes that may not click into place.
Too many other sports on offer for young kids. Growing up, kids don't see it cool to be a clubby, not cool to hang in clubby swimmers and hang down the beach. But to me, that's probably the coolest thing, hanging down the beach all weekend.
Carnivals are really hard work for the parents, for the officials, for the competitors. And I honestly think that the officials are, although they do a good job, they're too old. They're too old. They need people younger than me to be in there and being enthusiastic and getting it organised. Sometimes it just takes too long.
Time is a big commitment, and sort of with the patrol roster, you don't have much of a say in it. So what hours you do and what patrols you do get to do, with your patrol, but you can do it with others, but I think kind of time is a big factor, and there's a lot of time involved with training for your bronze and for higher levels of it.
I think sometimes it's the accessibility to the skill of whatever sport it is. So while board paddling might seem simple, all the people that seem to board paddle do it really well and really professionally and often a lot quicker, which I suppose is somewhat down to the fitness but also down to technique, whereas you can run along the beach or you can have a bit of a swim with whoever and that's fine, and the surf ski just looks horribly difficult. And so I think it's building that skill that is one of the main barriers, and then it's just making sure it's accessible. If there's a group of people that's already doing it, it's hard to break into that group. But if you say anyone can come along at this time and we'll teach you or we'll tell you to learn about it, then it makes it a lot more accessible.
I think everyone sees it as basically a sport where it's for the elite only.
Patrol hours, obligations, they want Surf Life Saving believe that we should be updating our accreditations, our qualifications. A lot of members just like to be involved in Surf Life Saving, do their patrols, the voluntary service, and also be involved in competition, go around the camp and enjoy what they're doing.
I think that it's probably, people think that it's really difficult, maybe it's actually quite easy to get started, and your first doing the lessons and stuff is quite easy, but people think maybe that it's quite hard and difficult, whereas it's quite easy.
Certainly funding's the biggest issue. I guess at the club level it's getting good coaching, but yeah, funding's the biggest thing we've found.
To some degree, the unfortunate deaths that we've had in Surf Life Saving have to have some sort of impact somewhere along the line with parents getting their kids into Surf Life Saving. Saying that, I've just had our first child and he will absolutely be joining the surf club.
I think we've got to look after the youth a hell of a lot better. We've got to promote them, give them more opportunities and have more things for them to do. With the elite guys, I think we've got to try and definitely utilise them a lot more.
I believe, that people and the organisation don't use these guys to the maximum advantage. They can definitely go out there and attract people and get people to actually join the surf club.
Probably the regime that Surf Life Saving's got may be a bit staid and may need to change into the next generation and get with the times.
It's hard when you're professional athletes and you live your life like a professional athlete, but then you have to go and patrol beaches with the punters on the weekend. That's really difficult for a lot of professional people to deal with, but at the same time that's what it is. It's a volunteer sport.
The threat of life jackets and helmets and taking away from I suppose we're supposed to be good in the ocean. It's what we grew up doing since we were 5. So we're trying to obviously prove ourselves, and unfortunate accidents have happened, but we've got to move forward and I suppose as a collective group see how we can work together.
Visit www.sls.com.au/SS Review.
Or join the conversation using the hashtag #SSReview.